Good morning, lovely people. So we are on day 4 of our keto journey, and I think I've tried to record this video like 5 times. And I keep rambling. So that's part of my angst, is I keep rambling and thinking, oh no, they're gonna lose me in all of this. I wanted to offer the recipe for the avocado pit tea, and then I wanted to cover some talk about how hormones and water intake can really affect your process. So let's start with the avocado tea recipe. I usually use about half a pit of avocado. You can half of the pit of an avocado, a decent sized pit. We're roughly talking about that much. So half of the pit is what you're looking for. And those are thick. I thickly slice them. Some people grind them. I feel like that's a lot of effort. If you're only making 1 cup at a time, then sure. I prefer to make like a good sized pot, like a 4-quart saucepan sized pot. So I'm usually using about 3 quarts of water, 2.5 to 3 quarts of water, and half of a pit of avocado. This is really not a precise science. This is a bit like winging it, and has a lot to do with like what the color of the tea looks like. So what you're looking for is sort of a deep brownish reddish color, and that takes roughly 10 minutes of boil. So I put everything in. When the water gets up to boiling temp, I turn it down just a bit and have like a good solid, not a rolling boil, or like just the bubbles. Like, we're talking about a good boil for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. If the color is deep, if it's like a deep reddish brown, then you're done. So I usually, and I will show a video of myself making a wall of what it looks like when it's being made. So the next thing that I add is a few slices of ginger, 2 to 3 decent sized thick ones. You can peel off the skin or leave the skin on. I'm lazy. I just leave the skin on. There are some health benefits as long as you give them a good washing. Then the skin on it seems fine to me. As you know, if you prefer to take the extra step of peeling the skin, that's your discretion. It doesn't, in my opinion, change the taste, because the taste is it's got a powerful taste. It's not like tea in the sense where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit and relax with this one. This is medicinal, in my opinion. And based on the components that are being added, it's kind of clear that this is medicinal. So the next item that I put in there is turmeric. I use the powdered stuff. If you have access to the fresh stuff, you can use less. So it's a root similar to ginger in its look, but it looks like sort of like little nubbies. And you can peel that and give yourself, a good size square, a good chunk, maybe about that thick and about yay thick and yay wide. So like a cube of cheese is about the approximate equivalent. You can use 1 or 2 of those cubes, or a cube of sugar about that size. Or if you are using the powdered stuff, I use about a tablespoon's worth. The last thing, and this is the thing that I feel like gives it some oomph, some power, is some cayenne pepper. So I use about 3/4 of a teaspoon, and I just eyeball it. And we're not talking about a mound. We're talking about like a good size, like 3/4 of a tablespoon. But you're not like piling it high here. It's, it's a decent sized dash and a half. But So that all goes in, and you get about 3 quarts of water, or about a 4-quart saucepan, and you let it boil for about 10 to 12 minutes. I think it takes like 4 to 7 minutes for water to boil. You can wait for the water to boil and then drop all these components in. I actually like to have all the components in the bottom and then put the water in, but I'm just a weirdo because I don't like to have, I don't want to stir the dry ingredients up. I just like for it to disperse when you're putting the water in. That's just my preference. Once you are all said and done, you're going to have a deep sort of brownish reddish color tea. You can add a sweetener of some kind, liquid stevia. I don't think that would actually improve the taste, and it's more ideal to think about this as if you're having like a bouillon cube or something like that. That isn't going to taste sweet. It isn't going to satisfy a sweet taste. But what it does do is it helps with inflammation. So when you are heavier, you are experiencing some forms of inflammation. Whether you realize it or not, you are. And like I often experience like arthritic symptoms. I was exposed to black mold for a while, and it has definitely sort of increased that feeling of arthritis. And so some days when I wake up, I'm like prying my hands open, or I step down on my heel and it is excruciating, and I'm limping around in the morning. That really can put a damper on your workout progress. And this is something that can help you wake up and feel like, oh, I don't have to limp around for 45 minutes. It's, or I'm okay to step on my feet and not be in excruciating pain, or I'm okay to wake up and not have to pry my hands open. This is more like a sort of a tonic. It's not something that is that you're gonna really, really enjoy drinking unless you like some spicy stuff. The other thing that it's going to do for you is it's going to activate your digestion. The heat and spicy things will help move your digestion along. And if you're having more, heavier fat and more protein and less fiber, it often does a number on your system in that department. And if you're already someone who isn't necessarily like regular, you're going to be like, what in the gotten Himmel? What the heck is going on here? So some of the things that I use, like this tea or like the MCT oil, are in order to help everything flow properly. That's super important. So I want to touch on the other part that's really important, which is water. You have to drink water. In this particular lifestyle change, it asks for an increase in salt intake so that your brain functions well. With that increase in salt intake, you need to increase your water intake so that you're not retaining water, and so that you're not stepping on the scale and going like, I've been such a good girl or good boy, and I've been sticking to this requirement, and I've given up all the things I hate, and I'm not budging on the scale. Why? Because you're retaining water. That's why. That's it. And as a woman who has cycles, there's going to be a time period where you're feeling like, I am doing everything that I'm supposed to do, and I am retaining water, or like, I'm not losing a pound. Yes, it's because your hormones are asking you to retain water in a certain amount of time. So within like 2 weeks of your cycle, you may find that either you are gaining, even though you're staying very steadily on your plan, or that you're not budging at all, and you're killing yourself at the gym, and you're doing you're working your meal plan, and it's just nothing is helping you. it is hormonal. And you just need to like chill for a second, keep working your plan, and do not look for that number on the scale. Like, that is one thing that I did check. My starting weight was 215, and then I checked about 2 days later, or like a day later, and it was down to 213. So some of that is like water weight drop, but it's also, just me being a good girl, paying attention to what I'm eating and working my plan. However, that's not always going to be the case. And I would say that the documentation should be more about how you're feeling. On day 2, we went for a morning canoe situation. And on day 3, some pretty intensive weed whacking / yard work, like where I was dripping sweat. I've never worked so hard in my life than doing yard work. And I'm like, I love to box and kickbox and all of that stuff, like jujitsu. I have, in my past life, been very, very active. But I tell you what, that yard work is like, you're like 10 minutes in and you're just like, oh, like a wall of heat, like a wall of sweat, just draining you. So what are you supposed to get out of this video? First, a recipe. Second, do not lose hope. And I wouldn't check the scale for about a month. Just work your plan, whatever it is. Don't check the scale. Just for about a month. Because you're going to get irritated and frustrated by working the program so hard and then not seeing the results that you want. But if you step on the scale at 215, 300, whatever, 500, 125, whatever it is that you're starting at, and then a month later you step on the scale and you're like, there's movement. You don't have to struggle with like the weekly, I only lost a pound, what the heck? And last week I lost 7 pounds and I didn't do jack crap. Because your body is crazy, and what it's doing is going through a lot of hormonal changes based on the foods that you're eating. So our body is a constant sort of movable, shiftable thing. Like, it's not this thing where like, this is the only thing that's right. This is the only way I can do XYZ thing. Our body is constantly responding to the stimuli that we give it, much like artificial intelligence, like our external stimuli and the things that we consume visually, physically, energetically, all impact how we are doing. I think you can see, like, because my hair looks like I haven't combed it in 4 days, and I am wearing the same shirt. It was washed. But there's a change between the first video that I made for you guys and this video. And I hope that you'll continue to see those kinds of changes where like my skin is a little more shiny and I look maybe a little bit more bright-eyed and not like I'm dying. Now, mind you, it's first thing in the morning. I do much better in the morning than I do in the evening, which is when I made the last video. However, this is a thing that's going to continue on where you will see the change in my skin, the change in muscle tone, the change. And it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. And the next video is going to be talking about the workout schedule, because it's not a thing that's like, if you're a busy adult like many of us are, your workout sometimes can't be an hour. Sometimes you literally only have 5 minutes, and I can give you some things that you can do, or something that I'm doing in 5-minute bursts. It's really important to, if you can take the hour, sure. But I have proven in the past that you don't need an hour. And that's one of the other things that I want to prove is that all the things that we tell ourselves about, I don't have time to take care of myself, I don't have time to lose weight, I don't have time to eat proper, that we are full of shit. And the only reason why we don't have time is because we literally aren't making time. So I hope that some of this chronicle helps you to get clear on how you can take care of yourself, even in a limited capacity. Many blessings to you all. Peace. I will come back later with the avocado tea tutorial, I guess, or just showing you all how I go about making it so that you can see the color that you're looking for. But the recipe that I have is a very loose one, you know, it's not like a rocket science. Thanks, guys, for listening. Sorry I've rambled, and I appreciate you. Oh, last thing. I feel like I didn't cover water intake. 50% of your body weight in ounces, or else you will retain water. Sounds excessive, but that's what the actual recommended intake for each day is 50%. So make sure that you drink those couple of quarts of water if your tongue is sticking to the roof of your mouth, or if you can hear the kind of smacking sound that I'm making because my tongue is starting to become dry. If your skin is flaky and dry, a lot of that has to do with the amount of water that you're drinking. And you will find that all of a sudden your skin will glow and you're not as to coin our phrases, you're not as ashy when you're waking up. If you're sweating more frequently and you are drinking enough water, you will not need as much external lubrication. So that's it. That's all I got for today. Appreciate you all. Take care. Bye-bye.